Hey everybody, this is Joe Payne here with another Political Pain. Today I have another interview to share with you, this time with a longtime friend of mine. We go back all the way to high school here in the Santa Maria Valley, and that's Benjamin Cabreana, or Ben Cab, some people call him for short. But Ben is a fantastic skateboarder and drummer in multiple bands. You might have seen him playing at O'Sullivan's with the Dogons, or King Cheese, or Joe Kid and the Gash, or Haley and the Crushers. Really has a long history. But I'm speaking with Ben today because Ben tested positive. He contracted COVID-19 and became sick with coronavirus. And so it really is a heck of a story because Ben is super healthy guy, obviously a lot more healthy than me, but to do all the skateboarding athletics that he does, he also lifts weights, rides his bike a ton, and he said he was at his peak health, best health of his life when he contracted the virus, and it messed him up, man. It really messed him up. He's still dealing with it, even though the virus has left his system. So this is to kind of help inform people about the realities of this virus. It's affecting different people differently. Obviously, there's a range of effects that it's having. And this is just because we know so little about it. It's a novel virus. We don't have a genetic history of battling this virus. This is why it's spread so quickly and been such a problem and harmed and killed so many people already. We see the numbers coming in all the time. Here in Santa Maria, we've become a hot spot in Santa Barbara County in California. And it's just interesting because, people see these numbers and, they worry or they don't know what to think. But I think if you can put a face to one of these numbers, or at least just this is somebody in your community who and they've dealt with this, they're going through this, and it's not good. It's a really difficult disease. It's a very harrowing experience, as you'll hear from Ben. So this is just to also raise some vigilance. We all, after I talked with Ben, I kind of got that kind of vigilance back for me when I went out of the house and went shopping and such like, just to wear my mask and wash my hands after and be very careful and keep my distance from people, because this thing's spreading. It's still spreading in the United States. The numbers are going up. Santa Maria is a hot spot. California, our numbers are on the rise in other states as well. So this is something that's really on all of us to try to help battle. And, take it from Ben. You'll hear from him that this thing's serious, and we can all stay safe, as I like to say here, by staying informed. So if you like what I'm doing here, please like, subscribe, follow, hit the bell, whatever you can to follow me, help me out here on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, which is where we're at right now. So thanks again for watching, everybody. And without further ado, here's Ben and I speaking about the realities of living with coronavirus. So this is Joe Payne with Political Pain here today, where I have a very special guest, an old friend of mine going all the way back to high school, Ernest Righetti High School, Mr. Garcia's film class.
Garcia.
Foundational experience for all of us, But my buddy Ben here has been through, and you can pretty much say through, even though you're now on recovery mode, but of coronavirus. You tested positive and went through all the rigmarole. So let's just start at the beginning, Ben.
Okay.
Benjamin Cabreana. When did this happen? Like, when did you get notified, and how? I'm sure you experienced symptoms and then sought a test. Like, tell me a bit about how all that went down.
So I'll try not draw this out as long as I possibly can, just to make it, just so long and boring and all that stuff. So essentially, with my work, I had all this time off that I had planned to play shows. And then obviously with everything going on, like, live shows are just kind of a thing of the past for this year. And so I had all this time off. I'm like, hey, listen, like, I'm going to take a vacation. My sister wanted me to come up and see her for her birthday, and she lives in Klamath Falls, Oregon. So I was like, yeah. So I bought a plane ticket and was planning on taking off on June 26th, and her birthday's on the 28th. So June 26th comes around, and I fly to Oregon, met up with my buddy in Medford and his girlfriend in Medford, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to drive me to Klamath So the plan was they were going to drive me to Klamath, and then we're all going to go to Bend, Oregon, and celebrate my sister's birthday, what have you, and then drive back to Klamath on Sunday. And so I flew on a Friday. And then by Saturday, so I knew that I was feeling weird. So less than 24 hours from my flight, I was starting to feel weird, right?
So
And
you think it's connected to the flight?
no, I don't think it's connected to the flight. No, because at less than 24 hours, I don't think that's enough time for anything to, happen with all that stuff.
Okay. Probably should have done this in the beginning, but you are in a band. You've been in several bands. It's we know each other more than in high school, but in the music scene.
Yeah.
And you also work, you said, for UPS.
Correct.
And that's here in Santa Maria, California, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So you planned some travel, and so you started feeling this thing in the midst of traveling. So what'd you do after that?
So the plan was to go and float down the Deschutes River, and by the time it was like time for us to go and float, we're like, we're in we're in like a Fred Meyer or something like that, buying like some rafts and stuff to float down the river.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at my buddy. I'm like, dude, I don't think I'm feeling very good. Like something doesn't feel right. And I thought that it was like, maybe it was the traveling. I thought I had some like, the seasonal allergies. I get bad allergies and stuff. And summertime in Oregon, it's like, it gets kind of bad and stuff. So I figured like maybe it was just allergies. But then I started like, my body started getting really achy, and like I just got the chills like really, really bad. And so this is like afternoonish time. And we get to the river, and everyone's like, maybe you should just go back to the hotel room. And I'm like, I didn't come this far just to come this far. You know what I mean? I don't care how shitty I'm feeling. I'm going to float down this river. Bad idea. I was frozen. I couldn't even talk. It was bad. I get back to the hotel room. I take a shower, and then I take a bath, and then I wrap myself in some covers, and I pretty much don't leave that position for the rest of the night.
Wow.
And my sister, she's been in the medical field for a long time and stuff like that. And she's like, I don't think it's corona, this and that. But, when we get back to Klamath Falls, first thing Monday morning, we're going to take you to the swab site. And I know exactly where that is because I work with all these people. So,
wow.
And so Sunday we get back to Klamath, which is like a 2.5 hour drive back to Klamath from Bend. So I'm just in the passenger seat, just dead. I'm completely dead.
So you were in close contact with your sister and other people as all this happened?
Yeah, like we had a two bed room. My friend and his girlfriend had one bed, and then I was like gonna just sleep on the floor, and then let my sister just sleep in the bed. My sister had a rough night, so she was out. She was celebrating her birthday accordingly.
Oh, I see.
And so I'm just like on the other side of the bed, just shivering all night, just aching, shivering. I didn't have a temperature, but my head felt like it was on fire, but I was in bad shape. Like,
okay,
this is not good. So we get back to Klamath. First thing I do when I get to the house, I say what's up to my brother-in-law. I'm like, don't touch me, I'm sick. And then I just go right to the room that I stayed in when I was over there.
Wow.
And sorry, like I'm still working on like my lung capacity, because that's still like affecting me a month later. But
take your time. We got all the time you need. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then so I go to the swab site. My sister just drags me out of bed, and she's like, "We're taking you to the swab site." I somehow put some shoes on. That was just like a chore in itself. It was weird. Like, she would talk to me, and it would like I wouldn't even respond. I would just like look at the ceiling, and I was just so delirious, just like bad shape. Just like I haven't been in bad shape. I was like, man, something is up. Like, this is not right.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time she's like, yeah, I don't think it's COVID. I think that you just picked up some weird like bug. You know what I mean? Just like, like, all right, whatever. Like, so I do the swab, and then I'm pretty much just like in bed for those 3 days, and the body aches, the fever, the chills. I go to sleep. I just wake up I've never woken up in a pool of sweat like that. It was like I jumped into a pool and just ran to my bed, just soaked, completely soaked. I could wring out my clothes and it would just be like a sweat puddle. Like,
whoa.
Yeah, gross, super gross. And then, so that was Monday, and then Tuesday, and then Wednesday, those symptoms started to kind of go away. But I noticed when I was eating dinner on Tuesday that I couldn't really taste my food. I thought that was like kind of odd. And I had always heard about like the loss of taste and the loss of smell symptoms, but I didn't want that to, like, because I had heard of it, I didn't want it to be like, oh, like I'm thinking about it, so I didn't want to be a hypochondriac about anything. I wanted to be like real about my symptoms. I wanted to be like, okay, well, maybe it's just because I'm like congested and I've been feeling sick. Like, just wasn't ruling anything out. I wasn't denying it, but I also wasn't accepting it at the same time.
Yeah, don't want to be a hypochondriac during a pandemic.
Yeah, totally. That's the last thing I want to do. And then Wednesday comes around, and so sorry, I'm gonna fix my rig a little bit.
It's all right. Super high tech rig. Go ahead.
Super high tech rig. So Wednesday comes around, and the fever broke, and I'm like, all right, sweet, like that's over. That's cool. I'm glad I got to spend my vacation these past 4 days sick up in Oregon, Yeah. And then I was supposed to drive back with my buddy Nick back to Santa Maria, because he's from Santa Maria, but he lives in Medford. And he's like, yeah, we'll just drive you back to Santa Maria, because I'm planning on coming back to Santa Maria anyway. And I was with, mind you, I was with him when I flew up there the first day, Friday. Okay. And Wednesday comes around, and I get a call from the hospital that did the swab test. And like, just want to let you know that you have tested positive for COVID-19. And I'm like, oh no. Like, you have to quarantine for 2 weeks. And I'm like, well, I don't even know how I'm going to get home. Like, what should I do? There's just like so many questions. Like, all right, so what do I do? Do I have to retest? Like, when do I retest? Everybody that I'm with, like, and they're like asking me questions, like, who are you with? And have you come in contact with anybody? Where do you work? And this and that and this and that. And so right as soon as I hung up the phone, I called my mom, let her know. My sister called her husband and who was at work at the time, and was like, hey, listen, like, Ben just tested positive for COVID. You're at work, you've been exposed, you need to get out of there right now. And so they were in quarantine for 2 weeks, and I couldn't go back to Santa Maria the next day as I expected. So I am still in Oregon, pretty much just like laying on the couch, just watching my brother-in-law play video games. I was going on light walks with the dogs. Later on, I was like starting to, like get a little more of my stamina back, completely fatigued. I just could not even stay awake, not at all.
I saw you posting some of your walks and stuff, and you were like, it was like 8 stairs or something, and you're like, I'm walking up and down these stairs to try to like be normal.
Oh, that was like when I finally came back to Santa Maria. Yeah, I would walk the stairs.
That was recently. It's been, how long has it been now? You said more than a month now?
It's been, I think this is day 32 today.
32, yeah, exactly, more than a month.
Yeah, 32 days. Because I first started showing symptoms on June 27th. And yes. Yeah, so 31, 32 days, something like a month and some change, maybe.
So everyone around you at that time had to do the same. Did anyone else test positive, or do we know that much yet?
Nobody tested positive.
Wow.
Yeah. So they all got tested. I let every single one of them know. They got calls from public health. They got calls from every which direction. I don't even know who was calling me anymore at this point, because I was just like so delirious and I couldn't even stay awake. That public health would call me, CDCs would call me. It was just like from different counties, because I made the news in Klamath Falls because they reported 1 new case of COVID in Klamath Falls County. I'm not even a Klamath Falls resident, but it was me. And so, it was super crazy. And, like,
is that a very rural area?
It's kind of in the sticks. It's kind of like, I kind of look at it like a Santa Maria-ish kind of style city of Oregon. It's like it's not too far away from like the big, it's like, it's 2.5 hours away from Bend. It's like 6 hours from Portland. It's this many hours from this place and that place. But
all right.
yeah, but nobody around me tested positive somehow. I have no idea how. But
were you wearing a mask? Like, was there anything like that going on? When you were sick, did they keep you in one part of the house? Like, how did that all work?
Nope. I tried wearing a mask, and then they're like, you know what? You've exposed yourself already. Just sit with us. Like, we're probably already sick, and we probably already got it. Just hang out. It's like, I would never like give them hugs or like high five or anything. I would sanitize like the
Yeah.
door handles every time I'd use them and stuff.
Wow.
And
Wow.
um,
I think a lot
but
of people have been foregoing hugs and handshakes for a while now.
yeah,
Man, that's insane. So that's really interesting that nobody got it. But
yeah,
were you wearing a mask when you took the plane ride?
yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah, they require you, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, wow.
I think there's ways around it and stuff, but I mean, like I play by the rules. Like if somebody wants me to wear one, I'm not gonna argue about it. It's like I'm just gonna wear it.
You mean
It's
it's not an infringement on your liberty, Ben?
and even if it is, dude, it's like I'm not trying to just like argue with anybody. It's like I'll play by the rules, and that's just my part. And especially now, somebody that like I had it, whatever. But
Hmm.
like I'm still gonna wear it. It's not a big deal for me to wear a mask. It's
Well, I'm sure like you've read some articles, like people who've tested positive, you can get it. You can get it
yeah,
again.
yeah. You can
And
relapse. Yeah,
yeah, and people say that it's worse the second time. So
yeah.
I mean, that's so. How did you get back to Santa Maria?
I flew.
Whoa, whoa! While you
I
were still testing
No,
positive?
it's so under the guidance of my doctor and CDC and stuff, they said you should not be contagious after the 10th day,
Oh,
and you should be safe to fly. So I flew 15 days after I showed symptoms. So in theory, I was in the clear.
okay.
Whether it's cool or not, but that's just what the doctor said. I'll trust the doctor's opinion over my own because I'm not a doctor, but they
Hmm.
said it was cool.
Okay. And then I know you said you were a bit delirious and you're getting a bunch of calls, but tell me a bit about what that contact tracing process was like, because there are a lot of people have like fear about that. Like, what's that? Oh, they're tracing us. Like, what the word tracing freaks people out. But it sounds like they asked you some questions about who you're in contact with, and they called that. Like, what else happened? Do you know?
So that whole thing, it's like I don't think that there's any. I mean, not that I know of. I don't think that there's any like microchip that they're putting in your phones and being like, oh, we know that like you're hanging out with this person, so we're calling you. I
Oh,
gave these people names and I gave them numbers, and that's how
okay.
they got contacted. So it wasn't
Yeah.
like they were associated with me and then they're like, okay, well, let's just look up and call this person. It's like I gave them that information.
Yeah. And
I
they
feel
were,
like that's my responsibility to do that, so I did it.
yeah, and they were just trying to let those people know you've been exposed, if you hadn't already. So
Right, right.
fascinating, man. So tell me more about just the physical conditions. You said you were delirious. Like, did
Mhm.
like what was that like? Were were you having fever dreams? Were you having like actual delusions, or what did you go through in the thick of it, in the worst of it?
Yeah, yeah, total fever dreams, like all that stuff. And I said it before, like I was gonna be. It was like in the beginning they were like flu-like symptoms, but I was gonna be really pissed if it was the flu because I never get my flu shot, but I got a flu shot this year because I got the flu like a couple of years ago,
And it was bad.
and it was pretty bad. Not like this. This is way worse than that.
Yeah.
So but in the beginning it was like the flu, so it was like you're thinking of the body aches, like delirious, like yeah, like I was seeing like the ceiling kind of like move around, kind of like psychedelic like, but not in a cool way. Like
Yeah,
it
not
was just
fun.
like it wasn't fun, and it wasn't like on my own merit. It was like I was like this sucks, and I'm just like hot, and it was like people would talk to me and I would just like not even like register what they were saying. It would just be kind of like one ear in one ear and out the other, and like I'm
Wow.
trying to tell a story to like my sister, and this still happens. Like there's a lot of confusion that happens. Like I'm like I can't think of words. Like I was trying to tell my sister
Whoa.
about that Sacha Baron Cohen thing that he did up in Washington, and
Hilarious.
so funny. Like I thought that was just like so. And that was like that happened the first day that I got sick, right? And I'm
Yeah.
trying to retell this story to my sister, and I could not for the life of me even think of the word ambulance. Like that is like it's
Ambulance?
yeah, ambulance. Like they took off
Wow.
and I'm just like,
Oh,
what is that?
wow.
So like that's just an example. That happened a lot. And that alongside with that, it was like if I got up too fast, I would get like really dizzy. My sister calls them freebies, and it's like you get up really quick, and it's like you get a freebie, and yeah. So I just get really dizzy and just like really confused. I just like couldn't really register things, which I thought was like really odd, like super super odd. and yeah, like the body aches. So I also I got one of these things, and I still use it. So the
What's that?
top number here, it gives you like your oxygen level,
Oh
and
wow.
then the bottom one is your heart rate. So as soon as like I found out, like my cousin and my mom, they both sent one of these up to Oregon. So you know, every morning when I wake up, we're supposed to do it like 3 times a day or something like that. And I
Mhm.
throw this sucker on and then just get my numbers just to see like if it starts getting kind of low, that's when it starts, you know, you start getting a little bit of concern and stuff. But I still check this just because my oxygen has not been, my breathing hasn't been too great, even 32 days later. So,
So, yeah, so tell me about everything after the thick of it. You said your lung capacity you're still dealing with. Like, does it hurt to breathe? Like, what is that? What's going on with that?
it's like the chest discomfort. Even, I mean, I would have my good days and my bad days. So going back to when I first came back to Santa Maria from being in Oregon, I'm like, all right, I made it through the worst of it. I'm a really active person. I love to exercise. Like before this happened, I was riding my bike 20 miles a day. I
Wow.
was going, you know, I was lifting weights. I was doing calisthenics 6, 7 days in a row, like, you know,
Mhm.
6 days out of the week, eating really well and all that stuff. And, you know, I was just really, really excited to come back to Santa Maria and just being like, all right, I beat it, like COVID, whatever, like that's a thing of the past. It's time to start exercising again. And so I would start by lightly riding my bike, and then it's like, all right, so that feels okay. And then like I'd go, I've been skateboarding for 25 years now, and you know,
Yeah.
I'm 33 years old now, so I keep it pretty low impact these days on, you know, especially right now. I'm not trying to push it that hard. I skate a red curb, you know, just like a really, really small, like red curb. And as soon as I got done doing that, like just thinking that I'm on the upswing of just kicking this thing's ass, I feel my chest just being so, so tight. And like my breathing is just like really, really shallow. I'm like, just like really, really, really
Wow.
shallow. So,
Yeah,
I,
that's the other thing about you, Ben, is like you're a very accomplished, in my opinion, skateboarder, like very
thank you.
talented. You bet.
Thank you.
And I wondered, you know, like as a musician, I have a phobia of anything happening to my fingers, you know,
Mhm.
right? So I wonder, like, as someone who I know you like, you spend a lot of your time, and including your creative time. I drumming is very aerobic, but
Right.
you're exercising. So I imagine this is just like this is a hit, you know. I mean, the thing
Yeah.
you go to for solace is kind of
Mhm.
taking you away from you as well. How are you dealing with that?
So, you know, like when that whole thing, it kind of like really freaked me out. Just like, oh, I'm not, you know, like I was just like really jumping the gun on this. And so, um,
Wow. I lost your video there,
what's,
buddy.
yeah, something happened here. Okay. Are you back here?
Yep, gotcha.
Okay. I don't know. My Wi-Fi decided to turn off really quick.
Whatever.
So I talked to my doctor. So I've talked to my doctor 3 times since I've been back to California now. And when I told her about everything that was going on, she's like, you know, like even if you test negative, like we need you to test, you know, like your employer requires you to retest, which I did last week. And I have to do a negative test before going back to work.
Wow.
And yeah, so she's like, you know, even after you test negative, this whole thing in your lungs, there's an infection in your lungs, and it's going to need to heal. And if you exercise, you're just going to make it worse. So all you could do is drink your water and rest. Don't exercise. And hearing
Whoa.
that, yeah, just like don't do anything. And
Whoa.
so like he's like, here, we're gonna give you one of these, and so I got an inhaler. I
Wow.
never used an inhaler before, and so like I mean I have, but it's like being prescribed one. It's like I've never had to use an inhaler until right now. You know, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But
That's what
being told by
that was my next question. Was any treatment prescribed? But there you go. Was there anything else?
uh no, like even when it was the worst, they said if you need to take antihistamines, like take anything that for nasal decongestant, take Mucinex to loosen up the mucus in your chest, ibuprofen for your aches, lower your fever, just drink your fluids. I know that I had asked my doctor about the taking the Z-Pak and the hydrochloroquine, but it wasn't suggested for me to take that unless, so kind of fast forwarding a little bit to right now. So today I just did chest x-rays to see if I have walking pneumonia. I was supposed to do blood work too, but I think that I caught them during lunch, and so nobody was in the office, but these are doctor's orders for things that I needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as medicine, all they gave me was an inhaler, and everything else is over the counter. I've just been trying to just supplement with zinc and vitamin C and vitamin D, whether it be going outside or taking a supplement. I've just been trying to just drink a lot of water. Like I drink a lot of water. I make a lot of juice, a lot of leafy greens, a lot of things heavy in vitamin K, and a lot of just a lot of micronutrient greens. But that's pretty much it. It's just a lot of fluids.
You're on the Joe Rogan prescription. Work on your immune system, bro. Right?
yeah, pretty much. Like, I mean, it's so in January, I thought I got poison oak, and then I hurt my back really bad. And when I saw my doctor and he's checking me out, he looked at my stomach because he's checking my vital, and he's like, "Oh, you've been recovering from shingles." And I'm like, "Oh,
whoa,
really? That's what that is?" And so I thought it was poison oak, but it's like, so that's an autoimmune deficiency. And so
whoa.
An autoimmune deficiency can lead to a weak immune system. And so maybe I got attacked because my immune system is just not so great. And even then it was like, well, I mean, granted, like this was during the time in which my work is just incredibly busy. This was in January, just coming out of Christmas time.
Yeah.
But even after that, it's like I am really heavy in taking supplements. I try to eat a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, a lot of fluids, and just keep myself hydrated. And if I feel like that I'm lacking a lot of like these supplements, I definitely try to take my supplements. Like I'm sitting right next to a bottle of omega-3s right now, so
fish oil,
yes, I'm always trying to stock up on that stuff. But even me, I was in the best shape that I've ever been in my life. Hands down, like in my 33 years of being here, best shape I've ever been in, still got me. And I'm back to square one, just incredibly weak. Just,
it knocked you on your ass basically.
Big time. I've never had anything just take me down like this before. Maybe mono when I was in high school, but not like it's different, but like this is probably like surpassing that. And I thought that was the worst of it. And this is bad. This is really bad.
I think I remember you talking about that back in the day, or you being gone.
Yeah, I think that I was your TA during that time.
I was definitely your
TA. Yeah, and I was gone a lot during senior year because that mono. I didn't even get it the cool way either. I think I got it from sharing a soda.
The cool way. Man, that's nuts. So that's what was fascinating to me. I saw that post that you did today where you said you were in the best health of your life, and then this thing has just messed you up. Is there any like advice you have for anybody who like as far as, I don't know, we don't need to address the skeptics or anything, but just people who I mean, like take it seriously, or maybe don't. A lot of people I just see, they think like this is something affecting other people, and and then you hear from people who didn't take it seriously, didn't get it. But I mean, knowing you, it's it sounds like you've been wearing your mask, doing everything you need to do. What do you take from all this experience?
I would say that like there's just so many crazy things, and just having the internet just at your disposal, there's just so many things that are just, you're feeding yourself and you just don't know what to believe. And for me, it's like, at work, I'm always wearing a mask. I'm always wearing gloves. I'm always washing my hands. I'm trying to be as careful as possible. And there's, I think up until recently, like all my friends that I'm like skating with and people that I'm associated with, they were kind of thinking that this is like a bunch of hooey. And that's, because you don't know anybody that has it, but now they do. And I'm not faking any of this. You know what I mean? Like this is real deal shit. Cause there's nothing more that I want to do than just to like skate and just be healthy and just be around my friends. And I have not had any of that in the past month. And, but like you can't also live in fear at the same time. If there's anything that I'm trying to give anybody about this, it's, you're going to live your life, and everybody's going to live their own life, and everybody can take the information that they want, and whether it sticks or not. Like I'm somebody that got it. And that's real. That's a real thing. And if it's like you can be as fearful as you want, but you shouldn't like be afraid of living your life. Like you got to live your life. But if I mean, unfortunately right now, it's like, if you're going to live your life, you have to, be really, really careful. Wash your hands. Like, and if the place requires you to wear a mask, just wear it. Just like, stop griping about it. Just, like, whether it's infringing on your rights or not, just do it. It's, if you really want to go there, just wear a mask. But don't be, and this doesn't have to be a death sentence. And now it's like, I found this to be kind of important. I was trying to, kind of post about this a little more on like my Instagram and stuff. And people were just like, wow, like, thank you for kind of enlightening us about this, because you're the first person I know that has gotten it. And at my work, there's 2 people that have gotten it. And they came back fine after 2 weeks. I still am not back. It's been 1 month. Yeah. And so everybody is reacting to it just so differently. And it's just, and that's what's really interesting about this whole thing. It's like, some people are just not sick at all and they had it. There's people like me who is, like, I consider quite mild. I never went to the hospital. I never had the tubes put in me or anything.
Yeah. But it's still messed up. You still felt it.
Yeah, I'm laid out right now, but I'm, like, it could be so much worse. Like, there's people that are getting really, really messed up from this thing. And I am super thankful that that's not me. But if there's anything that I can, like, if anybody is like really scared about this and they feel like they need to talk to somebody that's kind of been through it, like, yeah, feel free, hit me up. And that's why I'm trying to like post more and more about this. Cause I remember when this kind of thing was starting to come around, and like Tom Hanks and his wife got it and all these people like got it and stuff. And everybody's like, well, is this even real? Like, why aren't they even talking about their healing process? It's like, maybe they're fucking healing, leave them alone. It's like it's just like ridiculous. And so what I've been trying to do is, put up these, I was posting a lot more before, but I just want to just kind of show that here's my recovery process and what I'm personally going through. And this doesn't have to be a death sentence. Just like, because I'll be honest, like, I was super freaked out when that doctor called me and said, you tested positive for COVID-19. I don't know where, and it's still just like, I don't know where this is taking me. And I thought it was like, all right, I'm going to do my 2 weeks. I'm going to do my time and just come home for good. You know what I mean? And now it's like, it's a month and I'm still just like, okay, now it's time to rebuild, but where do I start? And like,
and the doctor just told you, don't exercise too much, chill out.
Don't exercise. Like, it's like, well, what am I supposed to do? I'm so sick and tired of just like laying in bed and just like playing my video games. And like, I'll go outside. Like, I go on walks and I do yoga. That's what I'm like pretty much like restricted to. Not bad, but I want more, because I'm just I'm greedy. And
you're an active dude. I mean,
yeah,
you always have been. The only thing that stops you is like serious ankle injuries and all that stuff.
Ooh, knock on wood. We don't want any of those. Right
sorry. Yeah, let's I'll knock on the guitar right here. And so, yeah, geez, man. Yeah, I know. I've known you so long that, you're always. I've heard you go through a bunch of different things. Skating. So, but that's just nuts, man. I'm glad you're doing well, Ben. Is there anything else you could think to add or anything like that? Do you know how or when you got it, or is that kind of dust in the wind? You don't really know for sure.
And it's really hard to say. Like, where do you, like, maybe you just like brush up against somebody that, like maybe breathed on you weird. But if I'm not a betting man. I'm not a huge fan of gambling, but I would put all my chips in going to work. That's what probably got me. And I'm handling a lot of different packages every single day. The social distancing, that's not a thing at work. It's like you're working side by side with so many people, and some of these people, they're wearing the chin strap mask. Like they're not washing their hands and stuff. It's like maybe they got it. Like they
got their nose sticking out, right?
Nose and mouth. Like nobody likes to wear those things, but I'm working next to these people, and so like
oh man,
to me, and that's a whole nother can of worms. And that's like it's like, well, you didn't get it at work, you can't prove it. It's like, well, what do you expect? All I do, if I'm not at my house and I'm not on a bike ride, I'm at work, and there's people at work that got it. So put 2 and 2 together.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. And there's such a weird thing in America where it's like, you don't want to be the guy who goes to management to be like, no one's wearing their masks. And a lot of people don't want to be the guy to be like, hey, you need to wear your mask as well. So it's creating these weird dynamics among everybody.
Right. And so, I mean, I do my part. I did my part. And it's like, not to put fear in anybody. It's like, if it's going to get you, it's going to get you. And you just got to accept it. And, you can't just, I mean, unless you want to make a time machine, like have fun making a time machine and turn back time to make that not happen. Just do your time and just, you know, like just knuckle up and just be strong about it. Like, yeah, it's scary, but if you need somebody to talk to, hit me up. I'm here. Like, I
What's
made
your
it.
Instagram handle?
It is at Ben Cabreana, just BenCabreana.
You get to see your
So
sick moves, and all your kinds of skateboarding videos and stuff.
a lot of
And
skateboarding, a lot of Blake. If you can handle that, then you can handle talking to me about COVID if you want.
oh man, have you played any? You haven't really got a chance to play music since all this, I'm guessing.
No, I have not. I mean,
Your
I have
practice pad?
well, Robin's covering it, but I have my
Yeah, of
practice
course.
pad and my drumsticks. I think that I'm gonna go to Slow, and that's where my practice space is with Haley and the Crushers. So I'm gonna
That's
go
right.
up there and set up my drums and just kind of just like slowly start to rebuild, because I know that my stamina is complete shit right now. But I
Wow.
need to start somewhere because I have some things that I got to do musically here pretty soon, and I'm hungry to get back out there. But I'm also I'm testing the waters to see what's too much and what's, you know, like where can I start pushing myself.
Well,
So
Ben, on behalf of everyone who loves you and is glad you got through this, take it easy, please. You know, be safe, and yeah, don't yeah, just get better. Don't overexert. Just do exactly what you need to do. So
I'm not going to make any promises there, Joe, but I will, you know, like you see my bed right here. I'm spending most of my time right here. So I'm
all
trying
right.
my
What games
best.
are you playing? Last thing. What last question?
Super Smash Brothers online. I've
Yeah,
been
bro.
whooping that ass.
I need to get on there. I haven't. Yeah, I can't get out of Hyrule. That's my problem.
There you go.
Breath of the Wild. Anyway, this has been Political Pain. Thank you, Ben, for coming on this new endeavor of mine and sharing your story. What a crazy story. A local son of Santa Maria.
Oh, there's one more thing that I can say. I do
Yes.
want to say, if there are people that are going to be watching this, I just want to
Yeah.
thank everybody that really reached out and was checking on me. My sister and my brother-in-law, my parents. Just there's so many people that were just reaching out, just hoping that I'm okay, because they're probably more scared than I am about this whole thing. There's just so many people that just really, really wanted to help. And so I think that they are the real heroes in this whole thing. And without them, I'd be nothing. So big thanks to everybody that got me groceries and that just really was just wondering how I was doing. So sorry to cut you off, but I really just wanted to make sure that everybody, that means a lot. Everybody just came from all angles, and it really means a lot that there's a lot of people out there that were wondering about me. So thank you.
Awesome, man. Yeah, that's the thing. People are coming together through all of this too. It's been a crisis, but sometimes the crisis can bring out the best in a lot of us. So
Oh
glad
yeah,
you're doing better, Ben, and glad you're on the mend.
dude. Thank you so much, Taylor Joe.
See you, buddy.
All right, man. See ya.